Hey, what's up guys? This is Brandon Bias from ChitCheckIt.com, back with another Photoshop tutorial. I know it's kind of been a while since I've made a tutorial for everyone, and the reason behind that is that we were trying to enter this video contest for some company called BMD, and we thought we had that contest in the bag, so we were making all of these plans for like how we would spend the money and then how we would organize our time to make tutorials and all that crap. And then BMD pretty much effed us over and we didn't get anything. So that kind of set us back a while. But we're back on track. We got a new website and yeah, here we are now. So back to the tutorial. What we're going to be learning today is pretty advanced. So for those of you that are faint of heart, you better turn back now. No, I'm kidding. Anyone watching this should be able to understand, at least for the most part, if they have any Photoshop experience. So let's just get right into this. So this is the effect that we're going to be making today. I don't really know what it is, to be honest. So let's just call it the Force Explosion, because it kind of looks like he's using the Force, you know, like he's God Almighty or something like that. Got ripples on the ground, some sort of force bubble around him. Yeah, you get the picture. Alright, so there are two things that you're going to need to get started. One of them is going to be a road, or some sort of landscape. You know, that's kind of up to you. This I grabbed from some guy on what's it called? A website called deviantart. He said it was free, so, you know, why not use it? And the second thing you're going to need is a picture of someone just standing there with their arms open. And Eli was nice enough to be our model and stand out in the road while I took his picture. And thankfully, we didn't get run over, so we're still alive. And what you're going to have to do, first off, is you're going to have to grab either the lasso tool right here, or the pen tool, depending on what you prefer. And you're going to have to go along and cut out your character. And that is something that I'm not really going to explain right now because it would take a long time to do. So instead, you could just download this PSD file where I already cut out Eli for you, or you can just go ahead and try it yourself. But let me warn you, it's a pain. I mean, just look at all of those freaking points that I made just to cut out Eli, little douchebag. He's got too much detail on him. Anyway, so I'll turn that off, and we're just gonna go ahead and drag Eli up to this tab and down into our road. And paste profile mismatch, yeah, I really don't care. So we'll hit OK. And obviously Eli is a little bit big for our road, so we're gonna size him down by hitting Ctrl T for the transform tool. And if we go up here, I'm gonna lock the width and height so that they're gonna be the same no matter what. And I'm gonna change that to about 31%. And then go over here and check mark it. And hit Ctrl 1 to zoom up to 100%. Hold the space bar and move the canvas a little bit so I see what I'm doing. I'm actually going to zoom out just a little bit. And with the move tool, I'm just going to position Eli right about there. So that way he looks like he's on the road, and yeah, that's about all there is to it. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to make now that Eli is on the road is his shadow. That way it looks like he's actually on the road. So we're going to zoom in a little bit, and if you go to the Eli cutout, and if you hold Control and click the thumbnail, it will load the selection so that it selects all of Eli, and then you're going to create a new layer, and then fill it up with black with Alt backspace, because black is our foreground color over here. I'm going to close this real fast so we can see all of our layers. And then hit Ctrl D to deselect. I'm going to rename this layer Eli's Shadow. Okay, so to make this shadow look like it's on the ground, I'm going to do Ctrl T for the transform tool. And if I hold control and click this arrow and drag it down this way and off to the side, gives that the little 3D look. About yay. And then check mark it. And so we're gonna use our arrows on the keyboard to move it up, so, and a little to the right. That way the shadow kind of overlaps his feet a little bit, and then we'll drag this layer down below. Move a little more to the right, and that way it matches up alright. Okay, so as everyone knows, shadows are not perfect outlines, so we're going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, make sure Eli's shadow is selected, and then play with the radius until it looks like a good blur, and hit OK. Alright, now we're going to get into making the explosion sphere, the force sphere. So what we're going to do is head down here and go to the ellipse tool. But if you go up here, by default you're probably going to have the shape layers selected, and we don't want that. We want it to be on paths. And then of course we want our ellipse and whatever that third icon is. And we're going to go to the middle of his back and click and drag, and then if you hold the Alt key and the Shift key and scale it up about yay big, you're going to have to toy with the dimensions of your circle a little bit. You know, it'll take a couple of tries, but just figure out what's good for you. And if we go over here and click on this arrow and go to the direct selection tool and click and drag and make a little box on the lower part of your circle, and you'll see that these squares appeared, but only one of them is selected. So click and drag it upwards while holding Shift until it's got a flat bottom, and then swap over to your path selection tool, and then click and drag it downward while holding Shift, and then use the arrow keys a little bit. That way you've got the flat bottom right next to your feet, and it curves up and around your character, or actor, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so you're going to make a new layer by using this create a new layer button or hitting Ctrl Shift N, whichever you prefer, and name this layer Clouds. And making sure that your default colors are selected, meaning these are black and white right here in the bottom left hand corner, we are going to go to Filter, Render, Clouds. And then we're going to randomize this a bit by hitting Ctrl F, which just does the filter again. And that looks pretty good right there. It doesn't really matter what your clouds look like. I just like to randomize them a bit by hitting Ctrl F a couple of times. If you see up here, clouds, Ctrl F, it redoes your filter. So if we go over to our paths and we have work path selected, which is actually this oval looking shape right here, and if you click on this middle icon right here, it says load path as selection, and we want that, so we'll click it. And we go back to our layers and we'll click this icon right here, which masks the selection. And as you can see, now all that's left of our clouds is this weird retarded oval looking shape.